Good afternoon and welcome to an afternoon at the opera. My name is Conor Duncan. For those of you who don't know me, I am the Director of Community Partnerships at Kensington Park Senior Living. Thank you for being here today. We are a senior living community that offers independent living, assisted living, and memory care, and we're right in the heart of Kensington on an 8-acre campus. And today I am very excited to have our presenter, Melissa Pate, who is our Director of Creative Arts Therapies, here today to kick off our Opera Appreciation Series, which today we are focusing on Tosca, and the next 3 weeks, we have 3 other operas for you. If you need anything, please feel free to write in the chat box. Any questions I will relay to Melissa. So we'll go ahead and get started. But again, I want to thank you for being here, and I hope that you enjoy the presentation. So I will turn it over to Melissa.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa Pate. I am the Director of Creative Arts Therapies at Kensington Park, and I'm really excited to be spending the afternoon at the opera with you all. Puccini is one of my favorite composers of opera, and as I was preparing for this presentation and reading about Tosca, the more I was just like, oh yes, this is the perfect way to start off our time together. So a little bit about Puccini himself. He was the leading exponent of a genre of opera called realism. So kind of before Puccini, we had composers who would create operas based off of Greek mythology, off of gods. And Puccini had this idea to create an opera based off of real love and passion and jealousy and all the things that we experience in life. And so I was really excited about Puccini for that reason. So Verismo is characterized by a story, like I said, rooted in real life rather than of gods or mythology, where the music and drama are matched and describe a story of passion and romance. And Puccini was very intentional about everything he wrote within this style. He was influenced by composers like Verdi and Wagner, and he used musical ideas to kind of denote the characters or ideas. And another thing about Puccini is that his operas are noted for the superb stagecraft. He claimed that he could only compose when he was able to visualize his characters in his mind's eye, considering their position on stage and their motivation. Another thing about Puccini as we get started, I'm going to play a clip for you here in a few minutes of the opening act of Tosca. And so Puccini, previous to Puccini, there was a style of opera called bel canto, where you would have these different types of songs. You would have an aria, which is more of a slow ballad type song, and then the calbrettas, which are these fast-paced, quick moving pieces. And Puccini, his pieces within Tosca were very fluid, and you never really knew what to expect. You would have some moments within one song that would feel more like an aria, and then it would switch to that fast-paced movement. So he was very, I guess the word is, he was very what's the word I'm looking for? He was very adventurous in his creation of Tosca, and very unlike what he had seen before. So talking a little bit about this opera. So this opera is set in 3 acts, And it's around, Tosca is one of the names of the characters, Gloria Tosca, and she is the main female protagonist in our opera. We have another character named Engolotti, who is an escaped political prisoner. And we have a painter named Mario Cavaradossi. And we also have our villain, who is the kind of the, I guess, the ruler of this place in Rome. His name is Scarpia. So we have Mario Cavaradossi, we have Floria Tosca, and we have Scarpia. And along with that, we also have some side characters of Marchesa Attavanti, who is Engolotti's sister. And as we open the opera, we see Engolotti taking refuge inside a church of Sant'Andrea della Valle. And as he finds a place to hide, a sacristan appears. And a sacristan is someone who back in that day would take care of a church, tend to watering the flowers, cleaning, etc. And he appears followed by the painter Mario Cavaradossi. And Cavaradossi is working on a painting of Mary Magdalene. And that painting is inspired by Engolotti's sister, Marchesa Attavanti. When the sacristan leaves, Engolotti emerges from his hiding place, and Cavaradossi recognizes him and promises to help, but tells him to hide when his lover, the opera singer Floria Tosca, appears. She is furious that Cavaradossi's painting of the Madonna is a portrait of another woman, as we all would be if our significant other was painting pictures inspired by other women. I mean, I would not be too happy about that either. But once Tosca is gone, Engolotti reappears. A cannon shot is heard, signaling that the police have discovered Engolotti's escape, and he and Cavaradossi flee to the painter's house. So that's a lot of words that I just said. We're gonna take a few minutes to kind of watch this scene unfold from where Engolotti is hiding and Floria Tosca comes in. So just a moment as I share my screen.
Grazie, resto! lasciami al lavoro.
So as you can see, there is a lot of drama in this. And, as I look at Tosca, who's the main character, I wonder what it's like to be the main character of this opera. A while back, the Washington National Opera did a performance of this, and there were a lot of challenges of being cast in this opera. Carrie Alkema, who was one of the two sopranos who shared the title of Floria Tosca, said, "I'm trying to find the diva in her." Especially nowadays, women, girls are told "Oh, don't be a diva, don't be a brat." But if you look at Floria Tosca, she is very dramatic. She refers to herself in the third person. And so as women are playing this role, they have to really bring that diva out, and they have to kind of just, like she says, all of a sudden I'm told I get to unleash her. And it's also this is obviously very theatrical. And so being able to communicate these highs of passion and the jealousy and the love is really tough. And it's an aspect of opera that we don't always think about. We always think about, at least I think about often, the actual singing, but there's so much that's meant to be communicated through the music, but also through the acting as well. And Puccini was such a theater man. He's the Italian conductor who led this at the Washington National Opera. He said, "Nothing is left in the score is left to chance." He says, "The risk with Puccini is that we get very romantic and gooey in the beautiful melodies. You don't have to add sugar, it's in there. Rather than wallowing in the lovely music when you sing or play it, everything that is action, that is dialogue, needs an urgency. So you really have to communicate the drama." So we see the passion between Floria Tosca and Cavaradossi. We also have this antagonist who hasn't arrived yet. But once Tosca has gone, Angolotti reappears and a cannon shot is heard, signaling that the police have discovered Angolotti's escape. Remember, Angolotti is a political prisoner, and he and Cavaradossi flee to the painter's house. So the sacristan returns, who is that caretaker for the church, followed by clerics and choir boys celebrating rumors of Napoleon's defeat at the Battle of Marengo. But the general excitement is cut short when Baron Scarpia, who is the chief of police, is on the trail of Angolotti. And when Tosca arrives looking for Cavaradossi, Scarpia plays upon her distrust of the Marchesa Attavanti in the hopes of discovering Angolotti's hiding place. And so he really plays, he gets under her skin and plays into that jealousy that she has. So as we finish off this section, I'm going to just start from right here, and then we will skip to a different video. Poison is working. So he's trying to kind of sow into her distrust, because remember, she's mad that Cavaradossi, her lover, is painting a picture of the Madonna using someone else's likeness instead of her own. So Scarpia, who is pictured here in the fancy clothes, is playing on that. And I want you to notice the way that this is from the 2018 Finnish National Opera. Just the clothing here, we have a little bit of kind of that 18th century or 17th century style, and then we have more of a modern look. So let's just look at that for a moment.
Non per galanteria, ma per offrirgli l'acqua benedetta. Grazie, Signore. Un umile esempio è il vostro. venite per pregar e non fate come certe sfrontati che han di Maddalena viso e costumi e vi trescan d'amore.
D'amore, le prove, le prove.
E Arnese di pittore questo
Prego, dove sta?
là su quel palco qualcun venne certo a sturbar gli amanti ed essa nel fuggir perdere penne
La corona, lo stemma, e la tappete. Presago sospiro.
Again, that's going to Kesa at Davanti, one she thinks Cavadosi is having an affair with. So he's playing off of her insecurities. So at the end of this act, we see Tosca leaving in just a fury, and Scarpia orders his men to follow her, hoping that she will lead him to Engolotti. So remember, his whole thing is he's after Engolotti. And then a Te Deum of Thanksgiving begins, and Scarpia declares that he will bend Tosca to his will. So going to this ending just very quickly. And as for the different styles of clothing, I did this presentation with a group of folks here at Kensington, and one of our participants so astutely pointed out that perhaps the reason for the different styles of clothing is to show that these themes of love, passion, and jealousy are timeless, that they occur in no matter if it's 1800, 1900, 2021. And again, I don't think that was something that Puccini had written into this, but some of the interpretations and creative liberties can be taken by the people that choose to perform this. And I think that it was very interesting that the Finnish opera did this. So Scarpia is very pleased with himself at the moment. He thinks that he has Tosca in his will. that is the end of Act 1. So when we get into Act 2, we are in a different setting. We have, giving it away a little bit. Let me see if I can stop sharing for just a moment. So as we get into the second act, Tosca she's enraged, and Scarpia is very proud of himself because he thinks that he is going to bend her to his will. So when we opened in Act 2, we are in Scarpia's apartment in the Palazzo Farnese. It's in the evening. And Scarpia is anticipating the pleasure of having Tosca in his power. He still can't find Engolotti, so Scarpia's henchman, Spoletta, arrives at the apartment with news that they have instead brought Cavaradossi in for questioning. And of course, Cavaradossi is Tosca's lover. And Cavaradossi is being interrogated by Scarpia, and he denies any knowledge of Engolotti and is taken away to be tortured. When Tosca arrives, Scarpia begins interrogating her using Cavaradossi's screams to torment her. And under this duress, Tosca reveals the hiding place. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, and I want us to watch this opening into Act 2.
Tosca è un buon falco, certo a quest'ora i miei segugi le due prede azzannano. Coman sul palco vedrà l'aurora, Angelotti e il bel Mario allaccia pendere. Tosca è a palazzo, un ciambellan ne uscia pur ora in traccia. Apri. Tarda è la notte. Alla cantata ancor manca la diva e strimbella
And unleashing that inner diva that is Tosca.
tu attenderai la Tosca in sull'entrata, le dirai ch'io l'aspetto finita la cantata. O meglio, le darai questo biglietto, ella verrà per amor del suo Mario. Per amor del suo Mario al piacer mio s'arrenderà. A lei profondi amori e la profonda miseria. Ha più forte sapore la conquista violenta che il mellifluo consenza. Io li sospiri ed i lattigino se albellonari poco m'appago. Non so trarre accordi di chitarra né oroscopo di fior, né far l'occhio di
We're setting the scene here of Scarpia, just the worst person ever. And Claudia Tosca is coming in. See these ups and downs. Quiet moments that run, Pate,
io vogo star quanto più posso nell'opera divina. Negato l'avergli dato cibo, nego nella villa e che la sia nascosto, nego. Via cavaliere riflettete, saggia non è cotesta ostinatezza vostra, angoscia grande, pronta confessione dicerà. Io vi consiglio, dite, dove dunque Angelotti? Non lo so! Ancor l'ultima volta, dove? Non so! Dove i tratti di corda? Eccola! Di quanto avesti taci o uccidi? Mario Cavalanossi, qual testimone il giudice v'aspetta. Pria le forme ordinarie, indi ai miei cenni.
It's all very fluid. There's not like separate pieces of quick and slow. It's like every moment, and this is what they were talking about in the Washington National Opera, is you always have to be on your toes, because every from moment to moment it can give you whiplash. Just because like you have to be on it every moment because of how the movement and the emotions change moment to moment. So I'm going to stop here for just a second. So one of the pieces that we are going to watch in a moment is Tosca's signature moment and one of the favorites of the audience, which is the aria Visi d'Arte, which is the singer's heartfelt plea to God as she and Scarpia prepare for their final confrontation. What's tricky about this piece is that the aria requires pinpoint control and a lot of floating pianissimo singing. So pianissimo is like very quiet. So in music, we have piano, forte, mezzo forte, pianissimo, which are all different levels of volume or dynamics, as we call it. And so the being able to sing high and to sing many notes while still keeping that quiet tone is incredibly difficult. And also this is coming at the end of an impassioned scene with Scarpia, which involves a lot of yelling. So let me exit out of here and switch to pause. Those bad place to pause. But Cavaradossi has been tortured, and Tosca is begging for her lover's life, and Scarpia basically says, if you give me yourself, then I will spare him an execution. And so Scarpia is preparing to demand payment from Tosca, which is herself, which is why they're in more bare clothing. And she's basically praying to God, saying that she used to adorn her jewels on Madonna's mantle, and she, paid her offerings. And so I realized I did not set the scene for that. So there you go. She's begging me to take passage, her and Cavaradossi.
Eccellenza, l'angelotti a nostro giungere succide. E bello si avvenda morto alle porte. E l'altro prigionier, il cavalier Cavaradossi. È tutto pronto, eccellenza.
Io esiste.
Aspetta. Occorre simular, non posso far grazia aperta. Bisogna che tutti abbian per morto il cavalier. Quest'uomo fido provvederà.
Io sicuro.
Gli ordini che io gli darò, voi qui presente. Spoletta, chiudi. Ho mutato l'avviso, il prigionier si è fucilato. Attendi, come facemmo nel conte Palmieri.
Un'uccisione
simulata, come avvenne del Palmieri. Hai ben compreso?
Ho ben compreso.
Va,
Voglio partirlo io stesso.
e sia, le darai passo. Bada, allora quarta.
Sì, come palmieri.
So it appears that he's ordering for a sham execution like with Palmieri, but they're giving them each other looks.
Non ancora. Voglio un salvacondotto onde fuggir dallo stato con lui.
Partir dunque volete,
Sì, per sempre.
si adempia il voler
I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because there's
vostro.
a part I want you to see.
Tosca, finalmente mia! Aiuto,
Ma è assai percorruto.
soccorso, muoio!
Vuole ancora. Parla, guardami su Tosca, a Scarpia.
Soccorso, aiuto!
Che soffoca nel sangue.
Muoio!
Muori dannato. Muore. Muore.
So you can just witness how dramatic this whole thing is. I mean, you hear the music reflecting what's happening. You hear how the brass, the trombones, the trumpets, they get louder. They're reflecting this big moment that's just happened when Tosca stabs Scarpia. And so, like I said, Puccini leaves nothing to chance. He is very intentional with what the music reflecting the story and also the characters. And so in this final act, we see Cavaradossi is entering to await his execution, and Tosca believes that this is a sham execution, and that's why she stabbed Scarpia, is because she believes she got what she wanted. And she tells him, this is not real. This is going to be a fake execution. And then we will see what happens. But one thing that I was really noticing as I was watching this scene is, by this point in the story, Tosca is exhausted. Her heart has been toyed with. She loves Cavaradossi. She hates Scarpia. He's playing on her emotions. She's jealous. She's impassioned. And what I was reading is that for the singers who are singing that aria, it's very difficult to sing that in that moment in the story, because like she said, your heart rate just doesn't come down. Like there's never a moment of just like, whew, and so that exhaustion that Tosca is feeling really comes through in that piece of just like being heartsick, being tired, understanding what she has to do, wondering if she'll be with her lover again. So it's incredibly difficult to perform. All right, so we're gonna get into Act 3. Let me share screen. Let's see, here we go. This is the beginning into Act 3, and then I'm going to skip ahead. These actors do an amazing job communicating the emotion that's happening. I'm going to take a moment to skip ahead to Tosca and Capadoci seeing each other.
Franchigia, Floria Tosca, il cavalier che l'accompagna.
It's amazing to me just how much that emotion changed.
La prima sua grazia è questa.
How does it change? So she's informing him of her plan. And as we come ahead to this next scene, we kind of see Tosca unraveling. You know, she's been through so much during this opera, and you know, we see her unraveling, and this singer and actress does an amazing job of communicating the exhaustion, but also kind of what happens as love and passion and jealousy overtake us. So I want to just close with these last few moments. Remember, she believes this is going to be a sham execution. She thinks that he's been shot to pretend to fool people. He's saying, "Don't move yet. You know, they're still there. Don't move until they're gone."
Su, Mario, Mario, su presto, andiamo.
You hear that, Mario.
Mario, Mario.
And in the distance, we hear Tosca has stabbed Sparta. Don't let her escape. Toss love of her life. She's wanted for murder.
A Tosca pagherai ben cara la sua vita.
I just get chills watching that. So Tosca is for being such a tragedy, it is a very beloved opera. And I mean, as I was watching that, I was just getting goosebumps because of the way that they, especially that particular actress, the way that she communicates her emotion through the music. And that is what Puccini was going for. He wanted the story and the characters to be embodied through how he composed the music. And, I don't know about you, but what I hear, from when she's singing Scarpia and that grand kind of finale, and as she's jumping off and you hear the cymbals playing, and it's just, it is amazing how well Puccini is able to use the music to not only describe the emotion, but also the plot and, what is actually happening. So I really appreciate your time. Next week, we will be doing La Traviata. If you have any questions about this opera, you're welcome to put them in the chat box, and Conor can let me know. But thank you for joining me for this afternoon of the opera. Hope you enjoyed Puccini as much as I do, and hope you have a great rest of your afternoon.
Melissa, we do have a question.
Sure.
Why did you choose this, Finnish rendition of this show? How did you find it? And what made you choose it?
So there were a few different renditions, the English, I'd seen a rendition by the Washington National Opera and by the English National Opera. But what really drew me to this was this particular rendition was the juxtaposition of the kind of modern and classical type of clothing ensemble, the fact that they had the 18th century style clothing, and also 19th century style clothing and modern clothing, and kind of how they embodied how these emotions and these types of the passion can be communicated from the 19th century to now, how that happens. And also the actors in this were so good. And Tosca, the actress who played Tosca, she embodied that character so well, and was really, really believable. And so that was a big reason that I chose it. And it was also fully available online. So that was also a big appeal, is that it was completely accessible.
All right, well, that is all the questions we have. And I just want to say thank you to Melissa. And we will be back same time, same place next Thursday. And Melissa, do you want to give a little teaser for which opera you'll be focusing on next time?
Well, I will give a teaser for La Traviata, and my teaser is a very well-known portion of the song. It's da 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 da. You might recognize that little excerpt, that little motif. You've probably heard it. I see it all the time in football commercials, but it is from La Traviata, and we will be exploring that next week.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And if you guys have any questions or need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. And we again thank you for joining us this afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.